All right. First program completed. Second program, write a program to calculate sum of numbers from m to n using while loop completed. This one I have to complete. Now write a program using a while loop that asks the user for a number and print countdown. This one completed. Now write a program to enter the number and calculate. This has to be complete. Write a program to print the reverse of the number. This has to write a program to find whether, only 3 programs completed, right? So I think this one completed. Any doubts in that? No doubt. Using some of the numbers, right? So write a program, write a program to read the numbers until -1. -1 is this completed? Likita?
Yes, sir.
This one completed, no? Number of positive numbers that you
Yes,
entered and number of negative numbers, and then I think only 2 are responding. In previous class also, Likita and yourself, both are only 2 members are responding. What about the rest of the persons? Why? Okay, so anyhow, all of you listen. So I'm going to tomorrow. I'm going to see week 2 programs one by one. That is starting from 66 to, right? So all those who have already shown, no need to show. Rest of them have to show all the programs. So of week 2, and then you have to execute these programs. What are the programs which relates to if elif statements and the nested if statements and while statements, whatever programs that have been discussed. Tomorrow, in the lab, all of you have to execute and show the results for this particular program. Okay, able to understand what I said?
Yes, sir.
yes,
That
sir.
is, so week 2 program, I will see one by one. Okay, you can upload. So it doesn't mean that so all of it show your execution, as it has been already mentioned to Likita. So to inform all you have to upload week 2 experiments. So tomorrow I will see the execution of week 2 experiments one by one. After that, there you also have to execute the programs related to nested if and while statements. So if possible, if we are going to cover today's class first statement also, then some of the programs which related to the first statements also, right? Within that, I think nested if I have given 2 programs. So what are the programs that you have to execute nested if? Roots of the quadratic equation. Subhash, A2.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Mute yourself. Came late and once again you are making noise. And next also that nested if you can also execute this program, that is to give the divisions of a particular student by reading the names, registration number, and the marks of that particular student. So prior to that, you are going to check whether that you have cleared all the subjects or not with the help of outer if, right? Next, another nested if, that is quadratic equation, roots of the quadratic equation, by checking outer if for whether the entire equation is quadratic or not. Then you are going to calculate the roots of the quadratic equation, right? These 2 for nested if. In addition to that, so in previous class, so prior to starting off online, I have asked you to write about the program when I am going to give the birth number. So you have to say that it is a lower birth or middle birth or upper or side lower or side upper, right? That also you can make use of with nested if. First outer if for checking whether the entered number is entered in between 1 and 80 or not. If it is in between 1 and 80, then only you are going to tell the birth position, right? So if not, you are going to tell that it is invalid number, right? That's for the another 3 programs for nested if, right? Tomorrow you have to execute within the lab these 3 programs for nested if, and the while programs. So whatever that while programs we have discussed here, these programs, all these while programs, the examples of these while programs have to be executed tomorrow's lab. All the, that is nested if 3 programs and while. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Right. So here now let's say we have already seen this particular program. Sum of n natural numbers, sum of squares of n natural numbers, sum of cubes of n natural numbers, and that is to calculate the sum of the numbers from m to n, and then you have already seen the means to count number of positives, number of negatives, and number of zeros that have been entered by the user. If we are going to make use of give the number as -1, automatically it will come out of that particular loop. Here you have made use of nested loops. If you are using loop another, if you are using nested control structure within another control structure. Why I'm not calling it as a nested loop? If you are using while within while, then it will become nested loop. For within for, it will become nested for or nested loop, because while and for are looping statements, whereas if, elif, and else if are the conditional branching conditional statements. So that's why, so here you have made use of if statement within while statement. That's why it is called as nested control structure, not nested looping, or not nested while, or the nested if. So here you have made use of if within while. So one control statement within another control statement. The if statement is the conditional control statement, while is the looping statement. The conditional control statement you have used within while. That's why that is called as nested control structure. So nested control structures you have made use of here. Then you have write a program to print the countdown. So by entering the number from the user, and you are going to print, if you count down, it's going to start with n is equals to 10, 10 to 0, 10 to 0, or 100 to 0, whatever number that you are going to give. There's another example. Next one is that is to write a program to find the sum of the digits. Say for example, if I have entered the number as 456. So sum of the numbers is 4 plus 5 plus 6. That is 9 plus 6, 15. Sum of the numbers that you have to get 15. Doesn't mean that only 3 digits. You can give any number of digits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9, 10. If you are going to give the sum of the digits of that particular number, we are going to get the sum 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6, so on and so forth, up to whatever number that you are going to. For this, so you are going to write, first you are going to initialize sum of the digits equals to 0, input the number. While number is not equals to 0, then you are going to make use of here the another identifier, that is temporary identifier, to store the temporary value. To store the temporary value, you are going to divide the given number by 10. You are going to store the remainder within the temp. Say for example, if as I mentioned to you, 456, 456 mod 10. What's the value that you are going to get? Temp value. Temp equals to, what is the value of temp? If I given the number as 456, then what is the value of temp? 6, right? So 456 mod 10, it's going to divide with 10, and the remainder, whatever remainder that you are going to get, that particular remainder value will be stored within temp. Now the temp value is 6. That will be added to the sum of the digits. Now you have initialized sum of the digits as 0, 0 plus 6. So now it will become, that is sum of the digits will be 6. Latest value of the sum of the digits will be 6. Now number is going to divide it with 10. So num equals to num by 10. What is the number? 456. 456 by 10. What is the value that you are going to get? 456 by 10. Num. What will be the num now?
45.6.
What will be the num now?
45.
45. Right. So now the latest value of num is 45 and sum of the digits is 6. Now it's going to check the condition. Num is not equals to 0. Yes. Then once again temp is going to be get calculated. Now the num value is 45. 45 mod 10. What's the value that you are going to get? Temp? 45 mod 10. 5. Right? Temp value will be 5. Now what is the sum of the digits? Sum of the digits is 6. 6 plus 5. That is 11. Now the sum of the digits will become 11. Now num equals to num by 10. That is 45 by 10. What is the value of num?
4.
4. Now it's going to check the condition. That is 4 is not equals to 0. Yes. Then it's going to calculate. Temp equals to 4 mod 10. 4 mod 10. What is the value of temp now? 4. 4 mod 10. The temp value will be 4. Price are not changing.
Yes, sir. Not changing.
Wait. I will see that. Now is it okay? Now it's moving.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. Now now temp value will be 4. Now it's going to add sum of the digits. Now what is the value of sum of the digits? Latest value of sum of the digits? 11. 11 plus 4. Now sum of the digits will become, that is 15. Now num equals to num by 10. What is the num value? 4. 4 by 10. What's the value you are going to get? What will be the value of num? 4 by 10.
0.4.
0.
2.4.
0. Now since we are going to take it as only integer value, so it will be of 0. 0. Now num is not equals to 0. No, it is equals to 0. That's why it will come out of the loop and it's going to write the sum of the digits. Sum of the digits will be printed as 15. Right. So like that it is going to be get carried out in case of calculating the sum of the digits while using while loop. Right. Any doubts or any clarifications? No. All right. Next, write a program to print the reverse of the number. So reverse of the number. So if I am going to give 1 to 3, it has to print 3 to 1. So now the inputted number is, we are going to input the number and then you are going to check the condition while num is not equals to 0. Yes. 1 to 3. Then it's going to calculate temp equals to temp num mod 10. Num mod 10. What is the value of num mod 10? So 1 to 3 mod 10. Temp value will be 3. It's going to print 3. Right? Then num equals to num by 10. What is the value of num? 1 to 3. 1 to 3 by 10. Now you are going to get
12.
12. Write that. The process will be of iterative. It's going to first write 3, then it's going to write 2, then it's going to write 1. So whatever may be the number that it has been given, it's going to print the reversed number. Right? If given number and entered number, reversed number is equal, then it will become palindrome. So when whatever may be the entered that it has been entered, the number is palindrome or not, how you are going to check? Or whether the string is palindrome or not is going to be get checked. When whatever may be the string and the reversed string is equal, then it becomes a palindrome. Even the number or the entered number and the reversed numbers are so equal, then it becomes, it is palindrome. So say for example, 787, if I am going to give 787 is reversal number is also 787 only. Then it will become palindrome. Now say for example, I am going to give the string as little. So little. So even of the reversing of the string, you are going to get the same little. Then it will be of palindrome. Even if I am going to enter the string as Malayalam. So after reversing the string, you are going to get the same Malayalam. If the number and the reversed number is equal, then it's called as palindrome. The string or the reversed string is equal, then it is also called as a palindrome, right? Now let's say another program. To write a program to find by using while loop. Write a program to find whether the given number is an Armstrong number or not. When the number is said to be Armstrong means whatever may be the cubes of that particular digit, cubes of the digits of that particular number is equals to sum of the cubes of the digits of the number is equals to the given number, then the entered number is Armstrong number. Hint that it has been given. An Armstrong number of the 3 digits is an integer such that the sum of the cubes of the digits is equal to the number itself. Say for example, now you have taken that is 371. 371 is an Armstrong number. How? So that is 3 cube plus 7 cube plus 1 cube. What is 3 cube? 3 into 3 into 3. 927 plus 7 cube. 7 7 is 49. 49 into 7. 49 into 7.
343.
343. 343 plus 3 3 ja 3 9 9 3 ja 27 plus 1 cube 1. What's the value you are going to get?
370.
Right, 371. If then that particular number is called to be as known as Armstrong number. So write a program to find whether the given number is an Armstrong number or not. Hint that you are going to get, that is the sum of the cubes of the each digit of that particular number is equals to the number, then it will becomes an Armstrong number. That is 3 cube plus 7 cube plus 1 cube equals to 371. So now you are going to input the number and you are initializing. So sum equals to 0, number equals to n, whatever number that it has been given. So whatever number that you have entered, your entered number is n. You are initializing this to num, right? Then you are going to make use of while given number is greater than 0. Here we are going to check the number, entered number is greater than or equals greater than 0. Yes, then you are going to calculate temp equals to n mod 10. Say for example, now you have entered 371. 371 is greater than 0. Yes, then it's going to calculate temp equals to 370 mod 10. It will become temp value will become 1. Right. Sum equals to sum plus temp cube. That is 1 cube. So right, 1 cube. Then number is going to be divided with 10. Now what is the number that you are given? 371. 371 slash 10. What's the value you are going to get? N
37.
equals to 37. That then is going to check the condition. You see that indentation is more important. So the while loop, these are the statements which are going to make use of. If statement, if else, that you have made use of later. So here that once again, then n will become 37. Then it's going to check the condition. N is greater than 0. 37 is greater than 0. Yes. Then it's going to calculate temp. Temporary value will equal to 37 mod 10. That is 7. Now temp will become 7. Sum equals to sum plus 7 cube. So 7 cube. So priorly sum is 1 cube. That is 1 plus temp now is temp cube. That is 7 cube. So it's going to 7 cube is 343. Now the sum will become 344. 344. Now some latest sum value will be 344. Now it's going to divide n equals to n by 10. That is 37 by 10. What's the value of n now?
7.
The value of n. 37 by 10. 3.
3.
7.
Yes. 3. Now it's going to divide and it's going to take the quotient, whatever quotient which you are going to get, not the remainder. If you are going to make use of percent, then it's going to take the remainder, slash, it's going to take the quotient. Quotient is 3. So 3 is greater than 0. Yes. Then it's going to calculate temp equals to, so 37, sorry, 3 mod 10. What's the value you are going to get? Temp equals to 3. Sum equals to sum plus. What is the latest value of sum? 344. 344 plus, so 3 cube. 3 cube is 27. So 344 plus 27. Now the latest value of sum will become 371. Now it's going to calculate n equals to n by 10. What is the value of n now? 3. 3 by 10. What's the value of n you are going to get? 0. N, that is 0 is greater than 0. No, it will come out of the loop. Then it's going to check the condition. Now, what is the value of sum? Sum equals to 371. And what is the value of num? 371. Since 371 equals to 371, it's going to print that it is a Armstrong number. So if you are given 372, then it's going to print it is not an Armstrong number, right? So like that it is going to get calculated to find entered number is the Armstrong number or not. So when it will becomes, when the number entered number will becomes an Armstrong number, the sum of the cubes of the individual digits is equals to the sum of the numbers, then it will becomes the Armstrong number. Else it is not an Armstrong number, right? Any doubt or any clarifications? Any doubt? Naveen. Naveen ఉన్నాడా వెళ్ళిపోయినాడా ఫోన్ పెట్టేసి నవీన్ లిఖిత
Yes, sir.
ఏమైనాడు నవీన్ ఏమైనాడు సార్
Mic is not working, sir.
which one whose mic Naveen's mic
Naveen's mic.
that's what he has started sir my mic work అవ్వట్లేదని okay right then what about other girls boys any doubts or any clarification all these programs you have to execute tomorrow so you have to execute
Yes,
and show it to me right and now let's proceed with for loop. So iterative statements or repetitive statements used in Python are two statements. One is while, another one is for loop. So you have already seen when you are going to use the while loop. And now let's see about the for loop. So the for loop is also an iterative statement or the looping statement. So here, in case of while, you are sure, you are exactly know how many times the loop has to be repeated. So whereas in case of while, you may or may not. Doesn't mean that. So you may or may not. So how many times? Say for example, in case of while loop that you have entered, that is please enter -1. -1 until the number you are going to enter -1. So it has to repeat. It doesn't know how many times the loop is going to be get repeated. So user may give directly with you and number equals to -1, then it will come out of the loop. User may give 100 times and then 101 that he may give as -1, then it is going to be get repeated for 100 times. So if it is user is going to give 10 times and he's going to give -1, then it will. So in case of while loop, when you are going to select the while loop means, so when you aware of exactly how many times that loop is going to be get or may not. Whereas in case of for loop, you are exactly, the user is going to exactly know how many times the loop has to be repeated, iterative. Then he's going to select the first statement. The for loop is usually known as determinate or definite loop because the programmer knows exactly how many times the loop repeat. So if you are going to give, that is, so range of the values which you are going to give 1 comma 10 means it is going to be get repeated for 10 times. If you are going to give the range 1 comma 100, then it's going to be get repeated for 100 times. So you exactly know for how many times the loop has to be repeated, or the set of statements which are present within that particular loop has to be executed. In such cases, you will be selecting this for loop. The general syntax, if you are going to take the for in statement, is a looping statement used in Python to iterate over a sequence of objects. General syntax for this first statement is for loop control variable, whatever may be the loop control variable that you are going to use in sequence. So in sequence, so that particular sequence, may be whatever may be the sequence which you are going to use here. That particular sequence may be a string, or that particular sequence may be a list, or sequence may be a tuple, or sequence may be a set, or sequence may be a dictionary. So in case of for loop, it is going to be supporting all the sequence data types. That is, whether that particular, it may be a string, or it may be a, right? It may be a string, or it may be a list, or it may be a tuple, or it may be a what?
Dictionary.
Dictionary, or it may be a another one is missing. Set. It can also be a set. Whereas while will work all the all these 5 types of data types. While will work all the 5 types of data types. Can we make use of data types of all these 5 types in while using the while? Can we use the while for string? Can we use while for string data type?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Next, can we use while for list?
Yes.
Yes. Can we use while for tuple?
No.
No.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
We can make use of. Yes. Can we use sets? Can we use dictionary? Can we use the sets and dictionaries? Can we use for sets and dictionaries while loop? Say yes or no.
No.
Why? Jaideep, if it is no, why? Justify your answer.
Programmer don't know exact numbers.
No, that's not the case, which I have already discussed. See this particular screen, see here. When we use the while loop to repeat a set of statements until this remains, right? So it can be used, repeat the set of statements a finite number of times. It iterates through a string, list, and tuple. Whereas, see that since the items in a set and or a dictionary cannot be accessed using an index value, it is better to use for loop to access their elements. Since we are not going to make use of in case of while this set and the dictionary value. Why? Because you cannot access by using the index values. You cannot access by using the index values. That's why while loop is not going to be supportive for this particular 2 types of data types. One is that is set, another one is dictionary, right? So whereas you can make use of all five types of data types in case of for loop. You can use all the 5, right? So here for, so loop control variable in sequence, that particular sequence may be, so all the 5s which I have been mentioned, that particular variable, whatever may be the variable that you are going to give. You are going to give the variable of I or year or number or whatever it may be, whatever variables are the identifiers that you are given. So for I in, that is the sequence which you are going to give, or you can also make use of the range, that this particular block that is block of the statements are going to be get executed for specified number of times. Exactly for that finite number of times is going to be get repeated. So when you are going to select the loop, for loop, when the user or when the programmer know exactly how many times the loop has to be repeated, then he is going to select the for loop. So when user is not aware of, but it has to be get executed number of times, iteratively it has to be get executed, but not exactly, may or may not know exactly for how many times that it has to be get repeated. In such cases, they will select the while statement, while loop. So when exactly know, then they are going to go for this for loop. So and when will go for the while loop, whenever we are dealing with the data types of that is strings, and then so list and tuple, then we go for while. Whereas for all the 5, you can go for loop, right? So here we are going to represent in the form of a flowchart. First, we are going to specify the range of sequence. Specify the range of sequence when it has to be get executed 1 to 10 or 1 to 20 to 10 or like that. That you are going to specify the range, and then the loop is going to is loop control variable is within the specified range or not. If it is within the specified range, then the block of statements are going to be get executed. So if it is not within the specified range, then it will come out of that particular loop and block 2 is going to be get executed, right? So range function, here you are going to make use of, that is within this, what is the general syntax for the first statement? For loop control variable in sequence. This particular sequence, we are going can represent the range also. So here this range function is the built-in function. So built-in function, range is the built-in function in Python that is used to iterate over a sequence of numbers. It will be proceeded in sequence, not jumping. In case of sequence, that it is going to be get repeated. Say for example, now we are going to give the syntax for this range is range within braces beginning of that particular range, comma, end of the range, and step. So that particular step may be either increment or decrement. You can make use of a positive value and the negative value. If you are using positive value, it will be incremented. If you are using negative value, it will be decremented. Say for example, now if you are going to take care for I, now the variable name, that is for the loop control variable. Now loop control variable name is I in. Now the sequence, whatever sequence that you are making use of is range, comma 1, comma 5. You are given only beginning and ending. Step is optional. That's why that it has been given within the square bracket. If you are mentioning within the square brackets, that it implies it is optional. If you want, you can make use of. If you don't want, you can omit. If you are not used it, by default, it is going to be get incremented. By default, it is going to be get incremented with 1. With 1, it is going to be get incremented. Now, so for I in range 1, comma 5, beginning of the range is 1 and ending of the range is 5. It will be incremented with 1 plus 1. Then now the range is 1. Then it will be incremented 1. That is 2. Then 3, 4, 5, 6. That is sorry, up to 5. So up to 5, it is going to be it. So for I in range 1, comma 5, print I. So now it's going to check the condition. That is so 1, range is 1. So is it within the, or now what is I here? So it is going to be check that particular condition is within the that particular range or not. If it is within the range, then this particular block of the statement is going to be get executed. So if it is not within the range, then it is not going to be get executed. Say for example, if I am going to write, that is for I in range, right? So 10, comma 5. 10, comma 5. Print I and that and that. What will be the output? You able to understand what I said? For I in range 10, 5. Ten, 5. Print I, end. What will be the output?
10 to 6.
10 to? Are you sure? Are you sure?
Yes, sir.
Got the result? 10 to 6, 10 to 5, 10 to 6. So beginning is 10 and ending you have mentioned, but you have not mentioned the step. Even if you have not mentioned the step, it is going to take. It's going to take and check or not. Now, say for example, now see the second example. So for I in range, I that is 1, 10, 2. So here the beginning value, beginning of the range is 1, ending of that particular range is 2. Now it has been incremented with 2 because you are given plus 2. So it's going to be get incremented with 2. Now it's going to write first I equals to 1, right? Next, what is the value of next I value? I equals to I plus 2. Next I is I plus 2. I equals to I plus 2. What is meant by I plus 2? Now what is the value of I? 3. Now it's going to check the condition that 3 is within this particular range or not. 1 to 10 is within the range or not. 3 is within the range or not. Able to understand what I said?
Yes, sir.
For I in range 1, 10, 2. Now it's going to start with I equals to 1, right? Now it's going to print. Now, so it's going to take 1 and then it's going to check the condition. 1 is within the range, that is 1 to 10 or not. Since 1 is within the range 1 to 10, it's going to print I. That is now I value will be 1. Now what will be the next I value? I equals to I plus 2. I equals to 3. Now it's going to check the condition. 3 is within the range 1 to 10. 1 to 10 or not? Yes. Then it's going to print 3. Then I will be incremented. Now I value will becomes 5. 5 is within the range 1 to 10 or not? Yes. Then it's going to print 5. Then I will be incremented. I will becomes 7. 7 is within the range 1 to 10 or not? Yes. It's going to print 7. Then I will be incremented 9. 9 is within the, is going to check 9 is within the range 1 to 10 or not? Yes. It's going to print 9. Then I will be incremented. I value will becomes 11. 11. Is 11 is within the range of 1 to 10 or not?
No.
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 Then it will come out of the loop. It will not execute. Now what I said, for I in range 10, 5. 10, 5. If I not given, huh?
No output.
Right, no output. That's going to be get checked whether that is within that particular range or not. Since it is not within that range, it will come out of. Say next, if you see here, so for I in range 10, you're not given either the beginning value or the ending value or the step. That is, say for example, if I am going to give let's say for I in range 10, 1, 10, 1, 2, what will be the output? Print I. What will be the output? For I in range 10, 1, minus 2. Say for example, -2. If I
10,
am if I am going to give I for I in range 10 comma 1 comma -2, print I comma end.
10, 8, 6, 4,
10, 8, 6, 4,
2.
2. That's it. So after 2 also it is going to be get decremented. Decremented 2 minus 2, it will become 0. Is within the range or not? It's going to check is it within the range or not. Since it is not within the range, it will come out of that particular loop, right? So here it is going to give, since you have not mentioned any value, you have given for I in range 10. Since you are not given any beginning or ending, so it's going to start with the subscript, range of subscript, that is 10 values. By default, it is going to start with 0, 0 to 10, 0 to 9, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's going to print with that, right? So absent is 69, A7, 2 absentees. So able to understand what I said. So if I not given any beginning value, see that how can you make use of the for loop within that while giving the range also. Range it can be given by giving the beginning value, end value, and the step. Step is optional. That particular step will be either incrementing or decrementing, right? Then it's going to give without, if you are going to not giving any beginning and ending, just simply you are mentioning the range. By default, it is going to start with the subscript 0. Up to that particular values, it is going to be get take. So here, if you are, since you are given the range beginning and ending, not given the steps, so by default, it is going to take the step one, and it is going to proceed and it's going to print that particular value. Here you have given the beginning and ending and the step. That particular step may be either the plus value or minus value. Based on that one, that is going to be get check that particular condition. And if that particular condition satisfies and is within the range, then it's going to get execute the group of statements, right? We'll continue in the next class. Any doubts or any clarification? Tomorrow, all of you get ready to show the execution for first hour. First, then the next 2 hours, you have to execute all these programs. It belongs to nested if and the while, and you have to show it. So absent is 69, A7. Thank you.